Hi, I'm Terry Kimball, President and CEO here at the Chandler Chamber. And today I have with me Representative Patty Contreras. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Representative Contreras is running for re-election in Legislative District 12. So just want to make sure everybody knows that. So tell me why you want to run for re-election.
Well, I don't feel like I've gotten enough done yet. It's one of those things where we really want to work towards, really helping the community and getting some things done in the community. One of the projects I'm working on is deed fraud right now, and that's we had a local person from Chandler actually that her mom's house or her dad's house was stolen, and there's so many parts to this. And it's such a big problem, really, in not only the state but the country, that we want to do it right. So that's one big project I'm working on right now. But I come from public service. I worked with the city of Phoenix for over 30 years, and coming into the state legislature is something where I felt I could extend my public service, really help the community. I worked with seniors for many years. I helped with one of the bills that we got passed through this year. I think it was a Mr. Dunn's bill. To help with facilities and accountability for our seniors and all. So those are the types of things, that really help the community be safe, and prosperous and all. And I want to make sure I can have a part in that.
Great, thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit. What do you feel is going to be the biggest issues facing your district or Arizona as a whole in the next couple of years?
Biggest problem in the district. Well, throughout the state, we're concerned about cost of living. I think that's something that folks are really concerned about. How that happens, where that's coming from, is debatable. People make assumptions that it's corporate greed or it's we don't get things, supply chain issues and all. Probably a little bit of both, but. We're working real hard. I know here in Chandler, especially, to getting good jobs into the city, so that folks can afford, to live here. And this is a great place to live. This is a great place to live. So, but we really, I think, good paying jobs is a major concern. Good paying jobs. We have great schools here, so people want to live here, and by having good paying jobs and good schools that build good paying jobs, right? So we go through the process, we get to college, or some other programs, the STEM programs and all, and we can have better paying jobs for our community here. So I think, that's kind of what I see, just making sure that we are able to continue to bring in good jobs into our community so that folks can afford, to
live here.
To live here, yeah.
Yeah. So the Chandler Chamber represents about 172,000 employees here in Chandler, which is a big business organization. So how will you, if reelected, how will you continue to foster that positive relationship with the Chamber?
It's funny when I get phone calls or emails about asking where folks can move or what kind of businesses there are or where they can put their business and all. It's like I send them to send them to Terry. It's
That's true.
Yeah. You have been so great about helping people to get engaged here in the city and settled here in the city, and so many different ideas here with the chamber as far as what they can do, and we have such a diverse community and business community too. Mm-hmm. So when I get those phone calls or those emails, I'm like, oh, I'm going to send them to Terry. It's like, oh, I know just the person for you, that we can. Because we're doing so much here in Chandler, with industry, with technology, with just mom and pop businesses and all. So yeah, I really like that we can work together, and I can help foster those businesses and all. When I talk to people around the country, I do go to conferences here and there. I talk about Chandler and how open they are to business and all. I haven't had that relationship with my other cities that I work with, so if they want to get on board, they better come talk to me so I can start touting them too. But, it's with Chandler, it's like the best small town, big small town. Was it?
I love that, big small
town in the state, there's just so many opportunities here.
Well, thank you for that. So this past session at the legislature, you had over 1,700 bills that were dropped the last session. What will be your top 2 policy issues you want to work on?
Well, I think as Democrats, and I am a Democrat, we, education is something that's very important to us. And I know here in Chandler, we have great schools between the Chandler Unified and Kyrene School District, and I think a little bit of Mesa. Education just has to be a priority. We just really need to put funding into making sure we have great schools and good teachers, good certified teachers. That's something that we've seen a lot. We're missing a lot of certified teachers in our schools these days, and they're retiring, and we have new teachers. My niece is going to be a new teacher next year, so I'm really excited about that. But she's taken the place of my sister, who just retired, so it's one-on-one. But at least we didn't lose any that way. But it's education has to be a top priority for us here in the state, throughout the state. We need to get back that. What was it called? I forgot it now. The weight. There's a weight for schools that don't have as good a backing as like Chandler and Tempe and Phoenix do. So opportunity weight, that's what it's called. So education. Environment is real important to me. I really think we need to take a look at our water process that we have throughout the state. Here in Chandler, we have great water system. We're doing great things with the water retention and conservation and things like that here in the city of Chandler and all throughout the valley here in the metro area. But throughout the rest of the state, the rural area, I always do this, this is the rest of the state, we really need to attack that in a real thoughtful manner so that we can have water and sustainability for future generations.
Love that. So as politics become more partisan, how will you continue to work with others that may not agree with you? And then what is your overall plan to make more of a unified political environment?
It can be hard. There's definite factions, different way of looking at things, and I think there are some good things that we can work on, like the deed fraud. I mean, to me, it's something that it will. By the way, if you're in Maricopa County, Maricopa Title Alert is where to go to register any property that you have. So I keep telling that to everybody. So I'm just putting a pitch in for the Maricopa County Title Alert. But that's something I think that should be bipartisan. Everybody is affected by it. Right now there's a lady in Sun City who her house, what was it? She has the same name as somebody else, and they're using this other person who has their same name as trying to sell her house. So it's really crazy, so she's fighting that right now. It's like, it's not me, this is my house, but they have the same name, like a John Smith type thing. So it's kind of a crazy situation. So we need to get that straightened out. And I think that's something that I actually worked with Mr. Gillette last year, worked with Mr. Dunn last year, tried to get some work on that done. We didn't get it all the way through, but we're working on it again this year. So I think looking for those areas of commonality, where we can all benefit is something definitely we want to work on.
Is important.
Yeah.
How do you maintain fiscal responsibility and prioritize smart allocations of monies?
Yeah, I know that's going to be a concern, and I'm telling my colleagues, we used to have a pie this big. The pie has gotten smaller, unfortunately, from, tax cuts and all, which have benefited some folks, but it's also made it more constrained as far as what we can actually do. From what we want to do is a big pie, right? But we only have this much. So we still need to be able to squeeze in all of our priorities into this smaller pie. It's difficult because we have to make some really hard choices. I mean, things that I want to fund might not be something that you want to fund, or my other colleagues, and also, but there's a lot of stuff in there too that we can, kind of pinch out of there that have just been things that were thrown into the budget years ago that probably aren't even, they're just there on line items that maybe haven't been used. So I think looking at some of those types of things, finding what those areas are, and reprioritizing some of our things. I mean, we have to pay our troopers. We need more. We need social services. We need schools. So all those types of things are all priorities. But I think there's places where we can, pinch a little here, pinch a little there, and get to that bottom line so that we can fit it all in that pie, because it's hard to make that pie bigger.
That's true. That's true. So you mentioned water earlier. So do you support or oppose reducing the 100-year water supply requirement? And how do you propose that we balance new development with our limitations on the overall water supply?
I support keeping the 100-year. I think it's a slippery slope if we start making that smaller. The water. Yeah, we 70% of our water is used through agriculture. It's used for agriculture. I'm not saying we need to get rid of agriculture, because we all need to eat. We want to eat. We want to put clothes on. Although we don't do as much cotton as we used to here in the valley, but there's definitely, we need to take a look at those 100-year allocations and our agriculture allocations, and figure out a way that we can, sustain our communities. And I think it's possible. We have the water there. It's just a matter of, as we take off agriculture, communities use a small fraction of that. So it's what we maybe need to take a look at is not using the credits somehow, the water credits, which is it's a very complicated system, but very complicated system, but giving those credits out as easy as they have been, from following our fields and all. So, but I think there's room here, and I really think we need to, for sustainability, to continue the 100-year water. Yeah.
Great insight on that. So we've had a short amount of time to cover a lot of different topics, and we've kind of been all over the board. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you feel is important, or that you want the voters to know to be able to vote for you?
Well, I just do my usual spiel here. I'm a third-generation Arizonan. I remember coming to Chandler when I was in high school, and all it was this little strip here downtown, and the San Marcos and the high school, and it was a small town, and it's been great to see the growth in our communities, and managed growth, which I think is wonderful. I think our cities are all doing a great job of managed growth, through their master plans and all. But I worked with the city of Phoenix for over 30 years, was in Parks and Recreation and in Human Services. And what I learned from that is that I enjoy giving back to the community. I enjoy doing things for people. I enjoy hearing what their needs are and trying to fulfill those needs. Now, I was limited when I was with Parks and Rec and when I was with Human Services and Senior Services and all. That was my area of expertise. But now in the legislature, as I hear different ideas from the community, we're trying to fix that. That deed fraud is one that we're trying to fix. And I really enjoy talking to the community, having them come out to me. I have a monthly meeting. Folks can come out and meet me over at Brick Road Coffee in Tempe.
That's okay. We love that.
Once a month, just sit and chat, and we talk about different issues and some of their concerns. And it's great to be able to have that opportunity. It's hard for folks to go down to the state capitol, and just as soon meet people in the community. And I'm open anytime to that too. So if folks want to give me a jingle, and I'll just meet them out, at a coffee shop here in downtown someplace.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Representative Patty Contreras, running for re-election in Congressional District. Legislative District. Legislative District 12. And so, again, Representative Patty Contreras, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. It's been great.